Vision be bullin'.
Peace. Welcome to another episode of the Parry. We don't pull, duck no punches, and the parry is fundamental to boxing. I'm your host, Bomani UFG, and I'm here with the pragmatic Che Black. I don't know if he's got his sound set up or if he's ready to rock, but we here for the Canelo versus Charlo fight preview. Fight will be happening live tomorrow, Saturday, September 30th at 8 p.m. is when the card starts. They got a stacked undercard. The main event is one of the biggest fights of the year. Jermell Charlo moving up 2 weight classes from 154 to 168 to fight the undisputed champion at super middleweight, which is Canelo Alvarez.
Saul
Cinnamon
stick.
Let me bring one of our co-hosts into the building. Okay, brother. We see what you're doing over there. You know what I'm saying? Introduce yourself, please, my brother. Okay, but he's busy right now. Let me take him. Let me move him out of there. Shout out to my brother Uhuru, Blood Clot, Jamal, Blood Clot Williams, BK.
Over there with the log cabin.
You know what I'm saying? Making it happen. He'll be with us shortly, discussing this preview. We're waiting on the brother Ivan Robinson to join us. Hopefully he'll be joining us shortly, so we can discuss this this highly anticipated super middleweight bout, man. Yo, but before we even get to that, man, yo, Blicky, how you feeling, brother?
I'm feeling blacknificent this evening. You know what I'm saying? Blacknificent. You know, a lot of things going on, but I'm feeling great. We here, we back. It's another episode of the Parry. You know, we got a big fight coming up tomorrow. A lot of announcements going on in the boxing world. A lot of fights being announced. We got the return of Jermell Charlo, who'll be coming. He'll be fighting on the undercard. I believe it's November 25th. He'll be fighting on the. Actually, it's not even the undercard. He'll be on the co-main event. The co-main event of the Benavidez, the David Benavidez, Demetrius Andre fight, and then he'll be fighting the older brother Jose Benavidez, who I know him from the Rocky, from Creed. That's my man from Creed.
I know from him getting put out with an uppercut from Bud Crawford.
Well, nah, Bud put that boy for real.
Yeah,
that was serious.
Put him on skate. You know what I'm saying?
That was serious. But he will be fighting Jermell Charlo for the WBC middleweight title, which I expect Charlo to win that easily, to be honest with you. I think I think his size. I think he's too big. First of all, I think he's too big for Jose. Jose's a little guy.
Yeah,
and he's nowhere near as skilled to me. He's cagey. He got a nice, wiry style of fighting, but
I mean,
he got the little dart in and out.
He was pretty good before he had that knee injury. You know what I'm saying? He had some potential, but I don't know what his potential was. If he was going to be like, I'm not saying he was going to be that guy, but I will say that I feel like that knee injury might have held him back a little bit. But that's neither here nor there, because he will probably get put by Jamal. I'm just going to be honest. He's probably going to get put.
He was doing good until he started fighting brothers. Yeah, I mean, he started running into the brothers, and then it's a whole nother ball game. I'm just saying,
Yeah,
that used to be a knock on Floyd. That he wouldn't fight the brothers.
I mean,
Cinco de Mayweather.
I mean, just to speak on that for a second, man. I never really had a problem with it, man, because I feel like, boxing in itself it's a nationalistic sport, right? And being black in America, you got people claiming to be American and whatever. We
But
from
we get to bring that
the
tribalism to the fight with us.
right. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like, for me, I'm
indeed.
always rooting for the black guy. Like, I don't, you know what I'm saying? I'm always rooting
I'm
for the black guy.
I'm
Like,
almost always rooting for the black guy because I'm almost always. There has been. I'm
almost
not gonna
always.
lie. There has been a couple Latino fighters that you know, and well, he wasn't really fighting a lot of brothers back then. But Manny Pacquiao, I rooted for Manny Pacquiao early in his career when he came up from what was that bantamweight when he came up to fight junior featherweight and he beat Barrera,
Well,
broke
yeah, I
Barrera
mean, look,
down,
man, I'm a go
beat
against
Barrera to
like
submission.
when it's two non-brothers, like I'm gonna go for the fighter that I like. But if it's a let's say like a yeah,
So
let's use Manny
Trinidad,
Pacquiao as an
Trinidad
example.
Hopkins, Trinidad Hopkins. Let's just cut the chase. Who was you
Nah,
rooting for?
well,
Cause
let's
I'm gonna
keep it
keep
a
it a
bean.
bean. I'm gonna keep it
Trinidad
a
is a
bean.
brother, just from
I,
Puerto Rico.
yeah, but he wasn't repping for the brothers though. Let's be honest. He
That's
wasn't
that's
repping.
be that's
Hopkins
not
was
even my
and
point.
Hopkins
That's
and
not part of
Hopkins
my
was
criteria.
repping for the brothers. Hopkins was repping for the brothers.
That's not part of my criteria
Hopkins was repping
because
for the
you
brothers.
you gotta you gotta you gotta have the phenotype
This was black eyed peas
that of
versus
a
beans and
brother.
rice. Come on, man. Yeah,
Yo,
man. Yeah, man.
listen, man. I can relate more to B Hop, but I was rooting for Trinidad, man, because I was my guy. You know what I'm saying? But he's a brother. You know what I'm saying? He's a brother from Puerto Rico, man.
You know what's
I
funny,
don't care
man?
what he think about himself or how he want to choose to represent himself. You know what I'm saying? I'm just personally when I look at you, I gotta feel like that's a black man going in there against somebody other. You know what I'm saying? But in Bernard
Yeah,
Hopkins Trinidad
it's
case, I was more of a Trinidad fan at the time.
it's
So
funny because we used to call De La Hoya the white boy champion. He was the white man champion. That's how
yeah,
we
he's
used
a
to
white
look at
Mexican.
but that's how we used to look at De La Hoya. It wasn't so much even just him being a white Mexican. He just was the white boy champion to us. Yeah, man.
Yeah, I never was a really big De La Hoya fan, but but like we let this escape us before we even really get to the nitty gritty. I just want to remind everybody to jab that like button, uppercut that subscribe button, and go ahead and slap around that share button real quick. And you can follow us on Instagram and Twitter at the Parry 101. Please support. You know what I'm saying? The soon to be number one boxing platform in the game. I'm putting it out there in the universe, as they say. You know what I'm saying? We soon to be running this thing. So you might as well just, you know what I mean, get on board now. Pause. And another thing, because we over here, you know what I'm saying? This is just how we carry it. Get in free Bomac, man. You know what I'm
Free
saying?
Bomac.
Free Bomac, man. Send him home. Stop the bull. You know what I'm saying? Stop the bull. Send my man home to his family. Now, with that said, what we here for? We here for the Canelo Charlo fight preview. Looks like Uhuru dropped out on us. I don't know, maybe have some technical issues. Still haven't heard anything from Ivan Robinson. Let me just
He was
double
on earlier,
check.
wasn't he?
Yeah, but I was setting up everything. I sent him the link a little early, but then I told him that we was getting on at 8:30. He said, "Cool." Yeah, he said okay. And
Nah,
he hasn't looked at any of my messages since. So um just maybe he's busy. I'm just I'm gonna take it as maybe he's busy. Hopefully he'll check his messages and he'll jump on here, at some point, man. But yo, listen, man. All right, so here we go.
but, but
We got Canelo.
before
What's
before we
up?
get right before we get into that, real quick,
Mm-hmm.
um, Don King. Is Don King trying to really make a comeback at 92 in the boxing game?
Only in America.
Don King recently signed Adrian Bronner. And I don't know if if Don King is trying to use Adrian Bronner to save himself, or if Adrian Bronner thinks that Don King can somehow save him. This ain't the 90s no more.
Um, and this is no disrespect to AB. You know what I'm saying? Over here at the Parry. We support AB. We support all the brothers. You know what I'm saying out here.
All the brothers.
Yeah, we support y'all, man. But we also gotta be, we gotta call it how we see it, man. And in my opinion, I think he just looking for whoever gonna give him a check. I don't know what his relationship is like with Al Heyman. I think he might have burnt that bridge because he's kind of loose with
Well,
his opinion and with his words, man. So he might have burnt that bridge. And
after
I don't
telling
think
Leonard B to shut that weak shit up, I don't know where his
you ain't
relationship
with
with
me. You ain't with me.
you know.
You ain't
You
with
can
me.
do it. You can do it. This was hilarious, right?
You ain't with
But
me. Yo, shit,
with
shut
that
that weak
being
shit
said,
up.
I don't see him at all coming back to the PBC for. But then again, they have that schizophrenic love hate relationship. You know,
I think he hoping he maybe he gets back in good graces with Floyd. And Floyd maybe, what I'm saying, do something for him. But
what
who else is
Floyd
going
said.
to,
Floyd said Floyd. Go ahead.
Bob Arum ain't checking for Adrian Broner.
Bob Arum's about
So
90 years old himself.
maybe he could get a check from uh Eddie Hearn and Matchroom and the Zone. Maybe, but why not go with Don King if you're gonna sign a check? And he got him fighting hoagies, dude who make hoagies. You know what I'm saying? Cab drivers and what I'm saying, warehouse workers.
Well,
So
speaking of Al Heyman, speaking of Al Heyman, PBC, is it over? They saying Showtime. Is this a domino effect we're looking at?
I think it was just a matter of time, man. I think HBO kind of saw the writing on
The
the
writing
wall in
on the wall.
regards to where things was headed, and
Right,
they got out early before they lost too much money because it's a heavy investment, and PBC's motto is they need money from the networks to pay these fighters. Ain't like the promoters, the Al Heyman not coming out of his pocket to pay for these fights or pay these fight purses. So, his business model was a little different from years past. So, um, I think this was everybody kind of saw this coming, man. And I honestly like I've listened to other uh platforms where they pretty much hold the same opinion I do. I think PBC need to get head over to the Zone and go ahead and get that money because it seemed like that dude over there don't mind losing money. And Golden Boy got cards over there as well as Matchroom, who pretty much that's a Matchroom Eddie Hearn
right,
platform
right.
in regards to internationally, especially over here in America. So I feel like, look, man, go over there and get them checks because you got a lot of these big name fighters on PBC that at first they was getting paid, they was getting overpaid, right? For a lot of these fights, I'm gonna say overpaid. Let me not say that because what you get paid is what you deserve. What you negotiate is what you get. So that's what it
Right,
is.
right.
But um, it's like a lot of these guys are not fighting.
Did he
Like Deontay
set?
Wilder still sitting around. You got and Andy Ruiz still begging for a fight.
So now, is it because though? Are these fighters sitting around because they they they're used to or accustomed to getting a certain check, and that money is not there for them now, so therefore they decided not to fight?
Well,
Is
I'm
it
gonna tell
is
you
it
like
is
this: if you asking me, and I can't speak for these fighters clearly, but if you asking me, if you bring me, if I'm a fighter, or if I'm in any type of business, and I'm contracting my work out to you, and you was willing to pay me 3 million, you know what I'm saying, to handle my business, fam, you're not gonna offer me 1.5 or one or what I'm saying, 500,000 next go round. Like I want
well?
that same paper because
There's a saying.
that's the we already done established the value of my
there-
work.
There's a saying that Fat Joe recently has repopularized. Today's price is not yesterday's price. Now that doesn't always have to go in favor. You understand what I'm saying? That can go the other way now. That
Right.
doesn't always have to be your way, you know. So with that
Well,
being said, could that be it could be just a classic case of that of today's price is not yesterday's price when it comes to what's going on right now in
one,
in
I'm gonna
in
say,
boxing with these fighters. And maybe it's just possible that what Al Heyman was doing was creating an unrealistic expectation for these fighters or creating a unfair market value for these fighters. Not saying that they didn't deserve or deserve. I'm just saying it wasn't the actual market value. So now there's an unrealistic desire to create, like the money wasn't being generated, but it was being
Right.
paid. So now we're
Right.
talking about fights that were going in the red. And when you're talking business, there's no way you're looking to lose money. If
Well,
anything,
I'm a look.
you know,
I think Al Heyman. I want to speak of him in a positive light, like what I think his intentions was. He was trying to get brothers paid, man.
well, he
You know what I'm
wasn't
saying?
trying. He got him paid. He actually
Yeah,
he
this is what I'm saying.
actually
Yeah, he
got
was.
it done. But now that they're
Yo,
not getting paid, is it fair for them to sit on the bench because Al Heyman is not able to deliver them same size checks, or
you got
should they just
that.
continue to get back in the game?
You got Julian J. Rock Williams who said, you know, and mind you, we know he's not. I mean, he was a unified champion, um, but we know as far as popularity and market value, he was nowhere near that guy that he probably was. You know, he wasn't probably. I don't want to say worth, but his paycheck probably wasn't something that was up there with like a Deontay Wilder's or Errol Spence type paycheck,
Right,
right? But he
right.
said, I don't have to work again. Al Heyman changed my life. And I think that Al Heyman was just basically putting brothers in position to really get their life together. Now, if you were, you could either be Julian J. Rock Williams or you could be your Adrian Broner.
So is this what we're looking at though? Now fighters who feel like they don't have to work again, who are
Well,
looking at what's offered and saying, you know what,
I think these dudes
until
want to
this
fight.
until you can meet this quota, I'm on the bench.
I
Because
nah,
there's fights
I
to be
think
made. The whole idea of there's no fights to be made is crazy. There's fights to be made, and there's money on the table that can, there's money on the table.
well, when I think about the fact that okay, you got a lot of the big names in the sport, particularly on the PB side of things, that's looking for a fight, sitting on a bench, trying to get a fight, or for one reason or another, let's say like somebody like Jermell Charlo, Jermall, who's going through some things at the time, and you know he probably could have had a fight or two between his last fight and now,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, Maurice Suleiman, that's crazy. That's crazy. That's
I think
crazy.
what you mean?
Go ahead. Suleiman
What?
not stripping him. That's what I'm talking about. Mauricio Suleiman not stripping Jermall Charlo. Jermall Charlo hasn't fought since June of 2021. That's insane.
Well, think about this though. Now, I mean, I
Canelo
understand what
getting
you're
stripped.
saying.
Canelo getting
No,
stripped. And on top of that, they're creating a special belt for the winner of the fight. I mean, this
hold
is
on.
this is crazy to me.
You got to understand that it's a business. Now, let me ask you a question. Now, it ain't like Jamal
Ooh,
is a
ooh, he
unified
just said the
champion.
key thing. It's a business, but continue.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
it ain't like Jamal Charlo's a unified champ, right? He's the
Right.
WBC champion.
Okay.
Who you giving that belt to? Well, 160. That got the name cachet of a Jamal Charlo. Who you giving that belt to? Right. So let him keep the belt, and there's some big fights out there for him. Right? He can always move up and weight and fight for another WBC strap. But at the same time, he's the name in that division that is worth anything. And you got to think
Okay. Now
about
listen to what you
hold on.
just said.
You also got to think about the level of paycheck he's receiving, and they
I
get what?
need you to listen to
They
what
get
you
a
just said.
percentage of
No,
that.
I
Talk to
need
me.
you to listen to what you just said because this is what defies the logic of this.
Go ahead.
How the hell is Canelo getting stripped and Jamal Charlo doesn't? You mean to tell me
Hold on. Canelo
that
not getting
that
stripped. You
that
mean his brother getting stripped?
who?
Jermell getting stripped once the bell rings tomorrow.
Canelo Alvarez,
Of what belt? He's the unified
the,
champion. He's the
the
undisputed champion.
WBC.
Not this belt. Not in 168. He got stripped before. He dropped the belt actually.
He dropped the belt to come up to fight.
Right. He didn't. They ain't stripping. They ain't stripping. They only Mexican. Come on, man. You know WBC is a Mexican. You know what I mean? Suleiman. You know what I mean? He Mexican. He ain't trying to strip Canelo. That's the cash cow. They get the bulk of their money from somebody like Canelo. They not
Well,
stripping that, man.
to be honest
But he
with you,
dropped it.
it's a Mexican belt.
Yeah.
You know
It's the
what?
most prestigious belt. But let's listen. That's neither here nor there. We still waiting on our guests. Nobody showing up, but it's all good because you here rocking with the best. You know what I'm saying? Once again, though, let me just remind
So
people:
PBC is
jab that
done.
like button. I'm gonna get to that. Jab that like button, uppercut that subscribe button, slap around that share button for your brothers. Um, is PBC done? Yeah, that was your question. Again, I think no PBC. I'm not gonna say PBC is done. I think Showtime is out of the game. Is out of the business of showcasing PBC
Well,
fights on regular Showtime.
then they said that they was gonna
They're
still
gonna do
do
pay per
the
view though.
pay-per-view. Yeah.
Pay per view,
So they're
and
not
they may
leaving
do
them. They're not
some app streaming. No, it ain't over.
they're
But
not
but
leaving
they
money
be
on the table. What they just did.
they're
What? All right.
what they're not doing is paying for uh they're
A
not paying
stable
for
of
a boost in
fighters.
this.
Yeah,
They're
exactly.
not paying
They're
for a
not
boost in
paying
this
for a
versus
stable of fighters that have
Stanionis.
a home no more. That's what it
Right.
is. They're not paying a stable of fighters that have a home to be showcased anymore. Because
They
that's what they
basically
used to
like
do.
talk to me when Jamal and Caleb about to fight. That's the, you
And
know what I'm
then
saying?
they'll air. But that
Right.
puts them in a bad situation as well, though. See, what CBS needs to do is put shit on network TV if they wanted to help develop fighters, because then that takes out a whole area of developing fighters. See, CBS has streaming sites that you can put that shit, make it free, just like it's regular TV. See right now what they're doing is they're looking at the curve, and they're trying to predict the curve, and they're saying, okay, this old way is done. Nobody sits down and watches cable TV like that. When's the last time you flipped through a guide? Everything is microwave. Everything we want, we pretty much, we listen to the music we wanted when we listen to, we watch what we want on TV when we want. We don't waste time. So with that being said, they can do the same exact thing.
Uh-oh. Pardon. 1 second, brother. I'm back with you, man. My phone started tripping. Go
Uh,
ahead.
they they could do the same exact thing streaming for free,
Right.
and
Um,
that will be the way to compensate for the loss of developing fighters, and it will still give fighters an incentive to sign with these big companies.
I think Al, take your ass over to the zone. I wouldn't mind having all my boxing in one spot. You know what I'm saying?
Nah, we don't want to do that.
What you mean?
We
I'll
don't want a
do.
we don't want a
I'll
monopoly.
take that.
We don't want a
Why have you?
monopoly.
Because you got all the fights split up, man. We already got Top Rank on
Remember when
ESPN,
Showtime?
and
Remember,
you
I'm not
got
Showtime. Remember when
PBC
HBO
on
was the best?
Showtime.
Remember when HBO was number one? Remember when HBO just
Yeah,
had shit on Smash, Lennox,
yeah.
everybody. They had Tito came along.
Everybody.
He left Showtime to come there. But they had
Mike
all the
went to
good
Showtime
fighters.
though.
No, Mike was Showtime. Holyfield was Showtime after a while. Because everyone started HBO though. All of the motherfuckers started probably all of
Yeah,
them
all of
started
them.
HBO.
All of them.
But
Even
then
Floyd.
Floyd left late though. He left late.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
left with the sixth fight, and then he retired off of that. You know what I mean? And that right there is probably part of the reason why Showtime said, you know what, we're not dumping money in the fighters no more. Because I'm pretty sure that particular deal, they wasn't on the upside of that when it was all said and done. I'm pretty sure Floyd walked away like, yeah, I got y'all. That was a stick up.
Well, but
That deal to get him from HBO was a stick up. But that right there was the beginning of the end for HBO. But it was also the beginning of the end for Showtime.
right. Well, here's the thing.
Showtime
But
was
hey,
just
it
fortunate
makes
HBO left the game when they did, which gave them an extra boost because now
right.
they were the only players in the game at the level
And
that they was
nobody
at.
and nobody watches HBO other than watching Game of Thrones and one of them bullshit shows or whatever, man. So
Now,
like
HBO used
whatever.
to be the shit though. HBO had everything, comedy,
HBO was
had
the shit,
shows
man. You
and
know what I'm
shit. Like
saying?
HBO used to be that work. But
Facts. But I'm saying is it makes sense for them to get out the game because them airing Showbox and having these cards on Showtime, I don't think it was bringing in the subscribers that they wanted, to pay for these fights. So if you're gonna do anything, you might as well do pay-per-view because it kind of pays for itself. Either you're gonna win or lose. Either you're gonna be in the red or you're gonna make your money. And it's that simple. So it's kind of like a gamble. Like, all right, so we got Canelo Charlo. Do we want to pay for that? Yeah, we'll take it.
Forcing the fans now, though. Now we have to, because now what happens is, because it got bad. It got bad. The level of fights that started becoming pay-per-view fights. You understand what I'm saying? Like, to a pay-per-view fight should not be a mismatch. It should not be a far gone conclusion before you go see the fight. It's okay for the odds to
But
be
wasn't most Floyd
higher
fight?
in someone's
But most
favor.
Floyd fights was like that. Most Floyd
Okay,
pay-per-view
first of all,
fights was
but
like
this
that.
is what I'm saying. You're talking about Floyd, first of all. That's one thing. And at a certain point in time, Floyd was only fighting on pay-per-view, but he was only fighting, like, he wasn't fighting outright bums, though. Like, these guys weren't bums. I'm not gonna. These guys was guys who was fighting on
Yeah, but you
HBO at
knew.
the time.
Yeah,
These was HBO fighters at the time, as a matter of
but
fact.
you knew Robert Ghost Guerrero wasn't beating Floyd.
You knew he wasn't beating Floyd, but he deserved the shot.
You knew Juan Manuel Marquez, which I mean, again,
Wait a minute.
Hall of Famer.
Juan
You
Manuel
knew he wasn't beating
Marquez
Floyd.
was arguably rated the second best fighter in the world. If not, might have been on most pound for pounds as the first when they fought.
But he was moving up in weight to go up against Floyd Mayweather. You didn't think he was winning that fight.
Floyd was way too big for him. That was obvious. That was clear as day. But what I'm trying to say is that he was legit. He was somebody to beat.
Nah, he was. Okay, bad example.
And the way
Berto.
Floyd, that was a retirement fight. That was a going away party. He gave a brother a shot. He gave a brother a paycheck. You know what I mean? We talk about he doesn't fight the brothers. He gave one a paycheck.
Yo, we been on this topic a little bit too long, man. It's 30 minutes.
Nah, we haven't been on a little bit too long. We just perfect timing right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Now it's time to get to the nitty, to the gritty. You know what I'm saying? About why we are here. You know what I'm saying? Hold on, what is this? Oh yeah, never mind. All right. We talking.
There we go.
Canelo versus Charlo. First of all,
I like how Charlo standing over him like that. I like the.
First of all, did you see the weigh-ins? We're gonna get to the weigh-in clips, but he's bigger than Canelo height-wise.
Height-wise, he is height-wise.
Right.
But look at Canelo's head, though. Look at his head. Look at his neck.
He got a head like a goddamn Rottweiler.
Yeah, for real. Like look at his shoulders. Look at his stature. He's actually the bigger fighter.
He got a head like one of them Olmec statues as far as the size is concerned.
And I'm pretty sure he's the stronger fighter of the two. Yeah.
Maybe not.
Yeah. Look at his history. Look at his history.
I'm gonna be
100 with it right now. I'm gonna be 100 with because we're talking about Canelo and we're talking about Charlo. And recently, Teddy Atlas said that Canelo was not an all-time great Mexican, and he should have
he said he was number 4 or 5.
He said he has about 4 or 5 losses on his record.
Yeah, that's right.
He should have at least about 4 or 5. He said he's not an all-time great. He has at least 4 or 5. He should have at least. I should say he should have at least 4 or 5 losses on his record. Is what he said. Now, I'm gonna be honest with you. I do think that he got a couple wins that he was lucky. There was some gifts. He got that early Christmas and them early birthday presents out of the hands of some judges a couple of times.
Lara.
But I will also say this though. He has beaten some world beaters. He's beaten some legit tough fighters. His resume speaks volumes. The people he has on his resume is outrageous. Like right now, fighting, he probably has the best resume in boxing right now. Boxing, active. An active fighter right now. He probably has the best
400
resume.
and something rounds, man. Like he been in the game. He's 59 and something, man.
So
Like,
that's something to really consider though when you think about where you place him. You know what I mean? Because right now in this era, still fighting. He's crossed generations, and he's still fairly young.
I mean, look,
They're the
I
same
mean, look,
age.
but all right, look, let's keep it like before we even get to talking about this particular fight. Let me just talk about Canelo for a quick second. Let me ask you a question.
Right on.
In you being a boxing hardcore, probably one of the best, like seriously, one of the best boxing historians that I know personally that could just
Hmm.
what when you think of Canelo Alvarez, what do you bet you? What do you best know him for? I'll tell you what my best know him for, but you.
When I think of Canelo Alvarez, what do I best know him for?
Yeah, like what like Canelo Alvarez. What's the first thing you want to talk about when you think of Canelo Alvarez? What's the first thing that pops in your head?
His power.
You know what I first thing I think about?
What's that?
Real shit.
What?
How he got that ass whooped by Floyd. That's the first thing that come to my mind. He
To
made a
me,
name off getting his ass whooped.
nah, he didn't. He
Yeah, he
didn't.
did, man.
He came into that fight with a name. You're wilder right
He
now. You
wasn't
wild.
he wasn't that popular. He wasn't as popular before the ass whooping as he was
He was
afterwards.
very popular. That fight right there was a huge fight. You
It
understand what I'm
was.
saying? And I'm gonna be honest with you. That fight was more intriguing from a boxing standpoint than him and Pacquiao. Like he had a more realistic chance to me winning that fight than Pacquiao did. And I'm gonna be honest. You know what I mean? Like in that fight, right? The fight that he came off of beating Mosley. He came off of beating he beat a couple of good guys. Like he was beating everybody they put in front of him. And I was
I
surprised
know
at
him
some of the
for getting
guys
that
he was
ass whooped
beating.
by
Like I
Floyd.
was surprised by some of the fight. Like I thought Mosley was gonna beat him. I really did. I thought Mosley was gonna have too much speed for him. He's gonna be able to move around, have lateral movement, because the guy's feet is very slow. He's slew footed. And I swore that Mosley was gonna be able to exploit that. And he obviously didn't. He got beat the fuck up.
You slew footed fucker. Yo, I know Canelo Alvarez, the first thing that pops in my head when I think of Canelo Alvarez is that pull counter that Floyd was landing on his ass all night. All night. And he was 23 years old. And he was the
I,
bigger fighter.
I hear
He
that,
got
but
that ass.
what you just
I'm just
said was
saying.
something. You're talking about something that happened 10 years ago.
I'm just saying. That's all. I asked the
Like you're
question. What's the
literally
first
talking
thing?
about something that happened 10 years ago.
I'm
And
just
I'm not saying,
saying.
and this is the
When
thing.
I think
I'm
of
gonna be
Canelo, that's
honest
what I
with you.
think about.
If he didn't go on to do what he did after that, I probably would have still remembered that. But before and after that, that was his only blemish for a minute. Outside of he had some, I
Yo,
think it was
listen,
a no
man.
contest and some draw shit that happened early.
I'm just gonna keep it a bean. That was his big accomplishment and a loss.
Nah, nah. I hear what you're saying,
Fam,
but nah.
fam, that was his biggest moment. The
It was
Triple
his
G
biggest. It was the
fights,
biggest fight he was in. It was the biggest fight he was
that
in.
was
But
his biggest
Triple G
moment, and
was
he
his
got
moment. No,
dominated
Triple G
from
was
bell to
his moment.
bell.
He was young. I'm
Triple
not saying he was
G,
too young. I'm not saying he was too young. He was young. He wasn't ready
he
for no
was
Floyd. He
younger,
never could be
bigger,
ready for Floyd.
stronger. Younger, bigger, stronger than Floyd. And Floyd pull counted his ass the
Man, but
whole
he's
night.
not better. You said younger, bigger, stronger, but he's not better.
He
Floyd was
was never
better.
on the
Floyd was
level.
smarter. Floyd was more skilled. Floyd has more discipline. Floyd just was too much.
Floyd whooped that ass.
I witnessed it. But it doesn't take away from the fact that this man put a hurting on a lot of fighters that I didn't think he was gonna do.
Like who?
Like like Mosley. That really I'm being honest with you. That one right there really surprised me.
Man, Shane Mosley was 135 years old when he fought.
I hear that. I hear that. I hear that. I hear that. But I mean,
Come on, man. Come on, man. All right, yo, listen, fair enough, fair enough. All right, but let's get to the nitty gritty. Let's start breaking down this fight real quick, man. First of all, once again, gonna ask The people, yo, shout out, you know what I'm saying, everybody that's chilling with us right now. You know what I'm saying? Jab that subscribe button. You know what I'm saying? Uppercut that like button. Slap around that share button. I think I twisted it around, but you know what I'm saying. We need your support. But
Absolutely.
yeah, so let's get to it. Where we at? All right. Bang.
What we looking at here? The weigh-in.
Now we ain't gonna get to the weigh-in yet. We gonna talk about
Tail of the
just
tape.
the matchup. Taylor tape. Canelo Alvarez, 59, 2-2, 39 KOs, 472 rounds fought. God damn.
Sheesh.
5'8",
That's experience.
71-inch arm reach. He's 33 with an orthodox stance. Jermell Charlo, 35, 1-1, 19 KOs, 256 rounds fought, 6 feet. He got a 2-inch height advantage and a 2-inch reach advantage with 73 inches on the reach. They're both the same age, 33 years old.
Yeah.
To me, like two things on this tail of the tape that stand out for me. One, the amount of rounds fought, and two, the age.
Word.
They both the same age, but Canelo got way more experience. 59 fights. No, excuse me, 59 wins. He got what? 63 fights. 472 rounds. Like, that's a lot of rounds. That's a lot of fighting for a 33-year-old. And you got Jermall, who got about half the fights that he has, about half the rounds that he has. That could be the difference in this fight. Now, does the experience of Canelo weigh more, or does the less wear and tear on the body from a fighter like Jermell Charlo, is that more of an advantage? You on mute, brother. I don't know if you can hear me. You on mute.
I hear you.
Yeah. So is it the experience of a Charlo? I mean, excuse me, of a Canelo that is more of the advantage here, or is it the less of the wear and tear on the body from a Jermell Charlo at this point, man? Because they both the same age. There's no advantage in that regard. So the
Well,
advantage is either gonna be
I'm gonna be
in the
100 with
rounds
you.
and the yeah.
Here's the thing with Canelo. Canelo has never been beat up. You know, he's been roughed up a little bit. You know, I guess you could say he took a beating in the fight with Beevil. Bevel,
Yeah,
Bevel, Bevel,
Bivol, yeah,
Bevel,
Bivol,
Bevel,
yeah, yeah,
Bevel,
Bibble. It's all about Bibble for
Bevel.
shizzle.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, I don't know,
Bell
Bibble.
Bevel DeVoe. You know what I'm saying? Word. But
Bell
anyway,
Bibble DeVoe.
so but that guy, yeah, him. He smacked him around a little bit, but other
I
than
think
that
Floyd
though,
put a worse beating on him, but that was years ago. Like you
he
said,
put a
about 10
worse
years ago.
beating on him, but he didn't beat him up. He didn't damage him. That's not the type of fight that a fighter's ruined after. He actually advanced after that fight. You understand what I'm
Yeah,
saying? So,
yeah.
you know,
But the
like
Triple
this,
G fights is pretty rough though. Like I mean, he won the majority of those fights. 2 out of 3, 1 draw. But
he did go in the kitchen for that one. I ain't gonna lie.
yeah,
He stepped in the kitchen for that one.
yeah, he did.
But even with that said though,
If you was either one of
he's
these
a
fighters,
he's a
if you
durable
was either
dude,
one of
man.
these fighters with the rounds being a factor, or you know what I'm saying, the amount of fight, which fighter would you want to be walking into the ring that day? Would you want to be the one with 472 rounds under his belt, or you want to be the one with 256 rounds under his belt?
I mean, to be honest with you, I think I'm gonna go with the 472. I feel like that experience and it's young experience. You're talking about a fighter who was 16, 17, getting, by the time he was 30 or by the time he was 20, he was probably 30 and 0 already. You understand? You understand what I'm saying? Like his record, I remember him coming up. In fact, I want to see who he was fighting because he had a lot of fights. This dude, I want to know was they legit? Because I'm pretty sure he was in there fighting in a lot of bar rooms and whatnot.
You know,
You
he had
know.
a lot of fights in Guadalajara somewhere.
Yeah,
You
I
know what I'm
know there was a lot
saying?
of people who
In
put
the
down the
in the
dart, and
bar.
they put the darts boy down. It's okay, I'll come fight you real quick. You know what I'm saying? Do some gloves on. They
He
sanctioned
probably
it.
beat up a few
They come
smugglers.
in.
You know what I'm saying? A few of the Sinaloa cartel jumped in there real quick.
Yeah,
he,
yeah,
he beat up a few dudes that ain't got no business.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Pretty.
El Chapo caught some lumps, probably jumping in there with him. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
I'm
But
pretty sure it is living.
yeah. I mean, honestly, I can't call it myself. Like, I don't know who I would want to be. I think the experience plays a factor. I think the 472 rounds and like you said, he hasn't really been in many wars like that. So I
His defense is actually pretty decent. Matter of fact, it's better than decent.
it's gotten
He
better
has
over
a
the years
pretty
for
good
sure.
defense. His
Yeah.
head movement is very impressive. It's
Hold on, let's not
probably
let's let
it's
let's not
probably the
even get to
second
that.
best for a Mexican.
We gonna
Juan
like when we
Manuel
start breaking
Marquez
down the
probably
fight
had the
further, we're gonna
best
get
head
into that.
move. He probably had the best, not even head movement, but the best dimensions for a Mexican.
Now let's get to the weigh-ins real quick, man. Let's break down how these cats, you know what I mean, look going into the fight.
Jermell Iron Man Charlo. Jermell Charlo weighs in at 167 and 1/2 pounds.
There you go, a little bit under the weight limit.
167.5 pounds. Now let's check out Canelo.
Jalisco, Mexico, Saul Canelo
Man, they're like he up there modeling, man. He trying to bag something.
Alvarez.
I was
Canelo
born ready.
Alvarez weighs in at 167 and 1/2 pounds.
Yeah, he looked like he been
167
drinking his milk.
and 1/2.
Now my man Charlo, he cut up like a cheesesteak over there. His shit look real sharp, and I'm actually surprised at how slim he looks at 168. Like he's extremely lean at 168, which I'm wondering where he was walking around at. He keeps talking about he was the bigger Charlo, so we'll see. But he seemed extremely lean, whereas, like I said, my man right here looked like he's still drinking milk. Canelo Alvarez, Saul look like he's still drinking his milk. Oh shit! I don't hear you, Bomani. You hear me though? I don't hear you, brother. So
Mic check.
okay, there you go.
Oh,
You back? You back? Nah, you going again?
you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you now. Get
Oh,
that
my
short
fault.
fix.
Nah. I like this. The mute button is on top of this microphone. Pause. I don't know why I said pause, just in case. But anyway, yeah. Damn, threw me off. Yeah. Now, I mean, it looked like Canelo might have had one or two. You know what I mean? Cervezas. You know what I'm saying? They both weighed in at 167.5. I will say, Charlo looked a lot leaner than I thought he would look moving up 2 weight classes. Because when you
Word.
typically see guys move up in weight, they look a little bloated, look a little chubby around the midsection. Like dude, he put on some muscle. His abs is ripped. He came in fully ready to whoop my man ass, man. He look like he's in great shape. But I will say, Canelo, all things considered, man, he looks pretty filled out. Pause. Like he's kind of brolic over there, son. Look, he looking like he coming to knock something out. But if I between the two, Canelo looks like the more muscular, stronger guy, but Charlo's clearly the bigger guy.
I hope Charlo definitely did his sit ups for this one, man. I hope he definitely was on his crunch game, doing them burpees and shit.
He was born ready. You know what I'm saying? But Let me just ask a couple questions in regards to just who you think. Hold on, let me switch up earpieces over here.
Get it right, brother. Get it right.
No, I'm good. Nah, I ain't want the battery to die on me before. You know what I'm saying? But let's
Where
talk
we at?
about some of the advantages that one or the other may have in particular categories. Power, speed, footwork, chin, ring IQ, and I'm gonna add something that you mentioned earlier that I didn't think about to add to this list, which is defense. So we're gonna kind of look at each aspect of, you know what I'm saying, of the fight and each attribute and kind of go and see who has the advantage. So when it comes to power,
I'm
who
gonna
you giving the
definitely
edge to?
I'm definitely gonna say Canelo Alvarez definitely has to have the edge in power. Um, he hasn't really seemed to bring that power up with him as he went up in divisions. His knockout ratio has definitely dropped. However, he still has that. He's like kind of like Costa Zoo type power. He got that. He can hurt you with his punches. He'll keep you honest. He'll keep you, from rushing up on him with the type of power he has. He has what they call that honest type power.
Yeah,
So I'm gonna go with there. Now it's hard to see what type of power Jermell is bringing up with him though. Like Jermell is not a weak dude. He's a pretty strong dude himself, and he hits with some authority. But it's his first. He's going up two divisions. I have to give the edge and power to Canelo,
I personally,
especially looking at him. Now
I
wait a
would
minute,
want
one
to
second.
give. Go ahead.
Looking at him then at the weigh-in, Canelo looked fuller, but he also looked sturdier. He didn't look flabby. He looked solid. Um, Charlo looked very lean. He looked like he lost weight. He cut weight to make 168 pounds to get where he's at. Like he looked like
Yeah,
he cut, and he looked like he might have cut some muscle. His arms was looking kind of slim too. But go ahead.
I must admit, yeah, his arms do look a little slim. Um, but if I had to give the advantage in power, like I got to judge it off this. I can't judge it off. I mean, I do understand that moving up in weight plays a part. So moving up two weight classes, the question for me is he bringing his power with him? But when I looked at, Charlo knocked out how many of his last few opponents? Like putting him down. Castellano, whatever, I can't say my man's name. The brother that the Mexican, I don't know if he's Mexican, but the Spanish speaking dude
Damn,
that he
there we
fought.
go.
Yeah, I'm just saying, man. Look, man. Anyway,
Yeah,
Castellano, I can't say that name, man. Damn, you know what I'm talking about. Castano, whatever his name is, man. When they was fighting for the undisputed, they fought to a draw the first fight. He came back and he put my man to bed. You know what I'm saying? Gave him a dirt nap. When he fought Tony Harrison, they
that
fought
was
to a draw. No, Tony Harrison won the
Tony
first fight.
Harrison won the first fight.
Won the
It was
first fight. He
yeah.
came back and put my man on skates.
Nah,
He
you
was
heard
out there
that boy.
slipping and sliding.
Nah, you
You
heard
know
him.
what I'm
He heard
saying?
him. He embarrassed him. He broke him down.
You saw what he did to Eric Salubin. Had my man like he was reaching. Had my man like, you know what I mean? He was like he was praising the Lord. Or he caught the Holy Ghost
But he's
out
doing
here
all of this at 154
at
pounds.
150. Like I acknowledge he's
He's
moving up
doing
in.
all of
He's
this at
moving up in.
154 pounds.
I
And he's
acknowledge
looking
he's
like a
moving up
fighter.
in weight classes.
And he's looking like a fighter who is naturally a lot bigger than the fighters that he's fighting. And he's using that advantage. It reminds me of De La Hoya back when De La Hoya was at 135 pounds, knowing damn well he should have been probably fighting at 154 pounds back then. When he was up there knocking out all these people silly because he's just a naturally bigger guy, starving himself to make a weight, then coming in the fight all big and ready after they done ate a couple meals, hydrated and filled back out, and come out there and try to knock somebody senseless. Gaddy was at 135 pounds, 140 pounds fighting, coming in the fight weighing 160 something pounds, damn full middleweight, almost sometimes in some cases a super middleweight.
Well,
So he looks like somebody who was probably doing that just by the way he was looking in that way.
I'm going to give the edge only because again I'm going off of how he's been finishing fights. Not the weight difference or moving up in weight.
That's like giving Trinidad the edge when he power when he fought Roy Jones.
I'm giving Jermell
The
Charlo
logic
the
wise. Go
slight
ahead.
edge in the
Okay,
power
so we split
department.
on that one.
Yeah,
Okay,
we split
we
on that one.
split. Okay.
Speed.
If somebody's gonna
Who?
get put, it's gonna be Charlo. But go ahead.
Well, we ain't get to the last one of the last
All right, go
attributes,
ahead.
which
Go
is
ahead
chin.
though.
So we
Go
talking
ahead.
something different.
Okay, but go ahead.
Speed. Who
I'm
you
gonna
giving
go
the
with
edge to in
Charlo.
speed?
Charlo, absolutely.
Yeah, I don't think it's much to talk about there.
Yeah, Charlo
Canelo's very
speed.
slow footed at that. You know what I'm
Charlo
saying?
doesn't have the greatest feet work, but they're good enough. Like he knows how to move.
Well, I think since he started working with Derrick James, like his style kind of changed. He's sitting down on his punches a lot more than when he was with Ronnie Shields. When he was
He
Ronnie Shields,
absolutely is.
he was
He
boxing. He was on his
absolutely is.
toes a lot more boxing. That's when my man had the braids. You know what I'm saying? Him and his brother.
I think that
Um,
I think that the Ronnie Shields style is gonna be a better fit for him in this particular fight. Maybe he can
I might
call
have
it.
to agree
It's
with
too
you.
late now, but if he, having Ronnie Shields in the corner on the background might not have been a bad idea for this particular fight because that's the type of fight. But go ahead, continue.
I think personally, you know, this is no shade towards Derrick James, but I think Jamal, who still trains with Ronnie Shields, would have probably been better prepared. I ain't gonna say like Jamel is not prepared for this fight, but I know that Ronnie Shields would have had Jamal ready for this fight. Like the game plan wise
Style of
would have
fight.
been something. Yeah, it would have been probably more, suitable for, to go in there and get that dub against somebody like Canelo. So speed, we both giving the edge to Charlo. I don't think that's
Yep,
a debate. Ain't
absolutely,
really much to talk about there. Now footwork.
absolutely.
When it comes to
Footwork.
footwork,
I'm going with Charlo. Not only does Charlo have better footwork, but Canelo has terrible footwork.
I wouldn't
Canelo's
say
footwork, he
terrible.
has good upper body movement.
Right.
He has, he's able to make create angles. But as far as his actual feet work, moving around the ring, he's a plotter.
I think you got to put yourself in position to be able to slip and counter, and Canelo's very good at that.
Yeah, he
But
is.
again, it starts with your feet. But my only issue with his footwork is that he's slow footed. Your man is like he's walking in quicksand. Like he's not very swift of foot, and if you can if Charlo can use the speed of his footwork and to kind of move
Like
around, change directions,
Floyd
and get the
showed the
angles.
way to beat him, yo, and being bigger than him and not being able to be bullied by him is another way. I don't think Charlo has that other way. I think Charlo will have to employ the Floyd Mayweather tactic, or as Onyx once said, stick and move.
I think. Well, when we get to our picks, I'll give you what I think needs to be done in order to beat Canelo. But it's hard to mimic what Floyd did to him, man. Floyd got the best pull counter I've ever seen.
I didn't say
So
he's going to be able to mimic that, but he needs to employ that same style. Because even to a
so
lesser degree, he can probably beat a Canelo fighting with that style. Floyd
right.
made it look like a virtuoso performance. It might be a little closer, however, I'm pretty sure he can beat Floyd with that. I mean, beat Canelo with that particular type of style.
Yeah, this one net just keep flying around this month. Anyway, um, chin. Who got the
I'm
better
gonna,
chin out of the two?
you know, I'm gonna have to go with Canelo. Canelo, after the fights with Triple G, he never seen the seat of the canvas. That right there said a lot. He went in 3 fights with Triple G. 3 fights with Triple G, and not one time did he
Did he
touch the
hit the
canvas.
canvas?
I mean, that right there lets me know that his chin is as granite as they come.
I mean, if we looking at the picture that I got up here right now, Your man got a jaw like a Rottweiler. Pause. Like
Yeah, yeah, that whole jaw, neck.
his neck,
You know what I
yeah,
mean?
is like you could probably hit my
Everything.
man with a bat, son, and he
He's
still
one of
gonna eat
them
that.
stouty ass, pause, but one of them type of. She got one of them statues. Just he's a problem. You got to move around him. You got to actually box him. Don't get in the trench with this guy
He look like he could bite through a
because
link
he's
chain
not built. You
fence.
know when they say you're not built like that, he's literally not built to go in the trenches with this guy and fight him like that. But he's built to be able to pop, 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 bang, get out the way, pop, bang, get out the way.
When I see Canelo's neck pause, I think about that scene in House Party when your man said it must have been that dude in the leather coat. He looked like he
Yeah,
could shit some bricks. Neck like Mike Tyson. You
yeah,
know what
he
I'm
got a
saying?
neck like Mike Tyson. He got a Mike Tyson neck. But look
Nah,
at
for
his
real.
shoulders.
Nah, I'm gonna go when it come to chin. I'm gonna go with definitely gotta go with Canelo. All right, this is probably one of the most important aspects of the fight. Now, before I even get to that one, let's deal with defense. Defense. Who got the better defense out of the two?
Ooh. I'm gonna say Canelo. I'm gonna give Canelo the edge in defense. He has great head movement. He also has great shoulder and forearms. The way he parry, a he parries punches beautiful.
The parry. Yeah, good.
Word, like but for real, right? Though for real, you know what I mean?
Nah,
Like
for real.
his style of boxing is he can stand in front of you and create opportunities by making you miss. And that right there is he is able to take deep defense and turn it into offense. And I think he does a better job at that than Jermell. But I think Jermell Charlo has a very, his style is he's more offensive. He has a strike. He's more of a cobra strike. Yeah, he
If you
he
if you watch Charlo though, Charlo get hits a lot. He get
and
hits.
this
He
is what
gets
I'm
hits. He
saying.
get hits a lot.
And this is what I mean. When you're offensive minded like that, a lot of times defense is going to suffer. I think he needs to learn how to move his head a little bit more. And I think that it's crazy because between the two, you would expect he has the better leg movement, but Canelo has the better upper body movement. And that right there is key when you get in close. And at some point, he's gonna have to get in close.
Last one. Well, oh no, for me, let me make my pick as far as defense. Yeah, I gotta agree with you. I think I would give Canelo the edge defensively. The upper body movement, his ability to parry, his catch and shoot. Like he's pretty sound. He's pretty sound defensively. You don't really see him looking, especially his face. You don't really see him looking too beat up after fights. Um, I mean, it's been a couple situations like, of course, when Floyd put the beats on him and everything, but you don't see too much. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, I'm gonna give the defensive edge to Canelo. Now the last one, which is ring IQ, probably one of the most important aspects, man. What you got to say about ring IQ? Who you give the advantage to?
Mm. This one right here, it's pretty close actually. Um, I'm gonna once again go with Canelo Alvarez, but it's based on the amount of years and rounds that he has and watching them fight. He seems to know how to work the ring a little bit better. To be such a slow-footed person and to be able to get from uh you know around the ring the way he does, to be able to cut off fighters the way he is able to cut fighters off, and to be as slow-footed as he is a skill in itself. So I'm gonna definitely and that is a big part of ring IQ, you know. And I think that you keep mentioning Floyd Mayweather. I believe that in that Floyd Mayweather fight, the reason why it's mentioned a lot for people is because of how much he actually learned in that fight. He actually took a lot away from that fight.
Ring IQ. I think you kind of have to go with Canelo. I think that's where that ring experience come in. The
The
472 rounds.
and that's what made it hard to go against. It made it hard to
He's
go against that difference.
the thing about Canelo. He's rarely out of position. I think he knows what his attributes are, what's his strengths are. I do find that like he knows how to set people up for shots. Um, his ability to counter and you don't really see him out of position. Really, he knows how to cut off the ring and do what he got to do in there, man. So his ring generalship, his IQ, I will also give him the edge. So now we coming down to no, we're gonna keep going. Hold on, we got to talk about the corners.
That's right.
Eddie Reynoso versus Derrick James. Who got the edge when it comes to the corner and the cornerman?
I'm gonna I'm gonna say Jermall Charlo, Derrick James. I'm gonna say Derrick James. Um, I feel like the things that Canelo employs and learns is not a direct product of his trainer at the present state right now. It's not like he took this trainer on and became a better fighter. He fired his last trainer what? Because money is some shit.
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying. So with that being said, I really don't think that he um improved with his new trainer. I think that the relationship that Derrick James has with Jermall Charlo is a little bit more solid and it supersedes, I think, business more than Canelo and with his trainer. So I think that that right there is just an edge in itself in the relationship department between fighter and trainer. But I do think that also Derrick James is the better trainer.
I'm gonna say I probably would. I was thinking about this, and I'm like, I wanted to say it was like a push. Um, Eddie Reynoso is a great trainer. You know what I'm saying? You got Canelo, Oscar Valdez, and a few other people in that stable. Um, I'm a go. I think I agree with you. I think Derrick James, him having Derrick James's corner might give him the slight edge, but I need to see what kind of adjustments Charlo makes for this fight. So, but as of right now, I'm gonna give the slight edge to Charlo and Derrick James, and they the home team. But anyway, so now let me ask, what does a victory for either fighter do for their careers at this point? If Canelo beats Jermell Charlo, and retains his undisputed status at 168, what does that do for him in his career? Like, what's next? You know what I'm saying? And really, what does that mean for his legacy? And vice versa for Jermell Charlo, if he beats Canelo and becomes the new undisputed super middleweight champion after coming up 2 weight classes, what does that do for his legacy? And what should be next for him?
Well, Canelo for Canelo, it's wide open and depending on how he wins it, if he wins it, if he wins it spectacular and but if he's in a life or death struggle, he has to start looking at his next phase from here as far as boxing goes. Because even though they're both the same age, and even though I felt that the 472 rounds that he had compared to the 200 and something rounds that Jermell Charlo had, I do feel like that can aid you though, and you can get old overnight in the ring. It can happen, and I feel like he's proven a lot in boxing. Like he's been around for the past decade. He's been a household name in boxing for the past decade.
Right.
So I feel like for him, whatever big fight is out there for him, I take it. And then you look at it like, what is there really for him? To keep trying to prove himself against every young lion coming up.
My only thing with Canelo is that he had a lot of fights where he made people move up and wait to fight him. Not saying it wasn't like worthy opponents. You know, I get it. Amir Khan was really out of his mind for doing that.
So was um oh man, so was Kell Brook.
Kell Brook fought Triple G.
No, Triple G, pardon me. Damn.
He
Damn.
fought Triple
Damn.
G.
Damn, that was a bad one. But yes,
But
he was out of his mind
but
for doing that though anyway. But go ahead.
yeah, yeah, definitely. I think for Canelo to beat Jermell Charlo, I'm definitely gonna give him credit for it. I'm not going to discount the victory and act like, well, because you had a fighter moving up 2 weight classes to fight you, like it wasn't a worthy opponent. This man is undisputed at 154. Pound for pound fighter, in my opinion, top 5, in my opinion. I think it kind of puts him on a course to, he's already a Hall of Famer. I think it just adds to his legacy as the great fighter that he has been up until this point. And this will probably go down as one of his, and especially in the fashion how he wins. Let's say he wins by knockout. I think it adds to his legacy. It will probably be one of his better names on his resume, considering you be the undisputed champion. It just ain't some dude with a belt moving up or some contender moving up. This is the undisputed champion
I
versus
mean, there's
undisputed
still the whole
champion.
he moved up thing though. That still will exist though with
Yo,
this.
yeah, but for me personally, I'm not gonna
That's
take that
why a
away
fight
from him.
with Crawford, right directly after winning a fight like this, it's it's only about the dollars in that one. And that one right there, it's only how much money are we talking now? Other than that, it's like I gotta fight this guy moving up. He beats me. I just lost to this guy who moved up,
So
which
let me.
I'm
All right.
sure
So what?
he might be confident he can win. So now I beat the guy. He just moved up again. It becomes perpetual.
So what does a victory for Jermell Charlo do? Moving up
Oh
2 weight
man,
classes and becoming a
the world is his.
two-time, like it'll be
The
Bud
world is
Crawford,
his.
then you.
The world is his. He has to be in that top 3 conversation now. You know, he has to be in the conversation whether you feel he actually it belongs there or not. It doesn't matter. It starts to become in that conversation now.
Some people say that the winner of this fight should probably be number one pound for pound either way. Like I've seen
I,
that
I
out there.
can't see that. I really can't see taking Bud Crawford's accomplishments out of this fight, out of these 2 fighters. I can't see these 2 fighters being the 2 fighters. I can see them vying for number 2 though. I can see this
I,
being the number 2 spot. I can see why that's an argument, but that to me just validates why I say that they're number 2.
if like, and I will say I 1,000% agree with you. The winner of this fight to me is in that number 2 spot, no matter who wins. If Charlo wins, he's number 2 pound for pound fighter in the world, especially if he wins. If Canelo wins, 2, 3, I will have no choice but to put him up there. I'm not going to discount the fact that my man moving 2 weight classes. I get it. Some people may look at that as a knock against him. I'm not one of them people.
Right.
I'm gonna give Canelo that respect. You beating an undisputed champion, and he's bigger. Like he's a bigger guy. You know what I'm saying? He's the bigger man going into that ring, and I feel like, yeah, if he beat Jermell or Jermell beats him, you're no question number 2, arguably number 1. I'm gonna say arguably because it is a subjective list. So arguably you could be number 1, But to me, you solidified, no doubt, no question, at least no lower than number 2.
Okay, let's take a deeper look at this now.
Okay.
Okay, so what garners number 2 for Canelo? Canelo still has yet to walk back through Bevel, Biddle. You know what I mean? He still ain't walked past, you know what I'm saying? He ain't walked past my man. You know what I mean? Like, does he really deserve number 2 for beating the
Yes.
guy who came up 2 weight classes?
Yes.
And is this based
Because
on him being an undisputed champ in the 4-belt era?
And I know that we haven't got to our pound for pound list show yet, which that's coming. Y'all stay tuned. And let me remind y'all once again to please jab that like button, uppercut that subscribe button, you know what I'm saying, and slap around that share button. Leave a comment, show us some love. You know what I'm saying? Follow us on Instagram and Twitter at the Parry 101. You know what I'm saying? Look out for your peoples. I'm on my list, pound for pound, I got Jermell Charlo in the top 5. I don't have Canelo in my top 5 at the moment. I don't think. I have to relook at my list again. But I feel like him beating a pound for pound top 5 fighter, undisputed. And again, I'm looking at, I'm not looking at the fact that man is moving up 2 weight classes, more so that in spite of they coming in weighing the same, and this man is actually bigger than Canelo. So
he's taller than Canelo.
Taller. And look at, his arms is not as big as Canelo, but he don't look as
Canelo. Pause.
Pause for sure. Yeah.
Nothing.
I'm
talking
say
about from what
Canelo,
we've seen in the weigh-in.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Canelo. You can't put him no longer on number 2 if he beat Charlo. To me, who you putting above him? Inoue? Right now, I got Inoue number
Possibly.
2.
I'm gonna be honest with you. Inoue, I can't see Inoue. To me, this fight really is it could be like I said, but
Inoue beat Stephen Fulton. No disrespect to Stephen Fulton, but come on, cool boy, champion, great fighter, dope fighter, man, dope. I like him. I always like that kid.
I'm gonna be honest though, I wasn't thinking that direction at all. I was actually looking at Tyson Fury.
All right, we're going to agree disagree on that one.
I
don't have no heavyweights in my top 5.
Tyson Fury is. I hate the fact I don't even like the guy, but he's one of those guys that's in the way, and until he gets beat,
it's against my religion to put a heavyweight in the top 5. I could put you in my top 10.
Crazy,
my top
crazy, 5. Crazy. The right
heavyweight. I said me.
The right heavyweight. See, to me,
who? Well, I'm talking about today, not of yesteryear.
But you know what? Though, to be 100% honest with you, though, if Jermell Charlo wins, Jermell Charlo wins, I do put him in that. I could see him being number 2 for the fact that 2-time undisputed, stepped up in a weight class, and it ain't even so much the undisputed because them straps, they hand them out. But the fact that he went up 2 weight classes, and Canelo is, he's been a monster for a long time. Even if he happened to just catch Canelo at the right time, him winning, stepping up 2 weight classes, a fight with him and Crawford makes the most sense in the world now. Like that fight, if he wins, if Charlo wins, Charlo Crawford makes the absolute most sense in boxing because it makes the most dollars.
I think Charlo win. I did. You can hear me?
Nah, I hear you. You good. Maybe you did. Maybe I thought you did. Go ahead.
Yeah, you are.
No, a little bit. I might be.
Shout out Athletic Mind. I don't know if he actually could come up. I don't know who you is, brother, but you know what I'm saying. Peace. Anyway,
you come up on the next on the what's the name, yo? When we do the after fight.
we going
stick around and you gonna come up.
Yeah, if you don't mind, if you part of our Facebook group, We doing what we call a post fight. It's the show after the show, where pretty much all topics is open for discussion, not just boxing. So if you in the Parry group, you're more than welcome to join us. And I'll put that link out there once we establish the live stream for that, which should be going down in the next 30 minutes or so. We about to wrap this up. If Charlo wins this fight, he's hands down number 2 like I said, arguably number 1. Arguably. You know what I'm saying? If somebody said I got Charlo number 1, I'm not going to debate that. But you can't have him no longer number
1.
2. I said, not me personally. I'm not going to have him number 1.
Yeah, I'm going to argue that though. If you take Charlo over Bud Crawford, I'm going to argue that. And I'm gonna be honest with you.
Number 1. Bud staying number 1.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I haven't taken Spence out of my top 5 yet. His next, which is why I don't like him fighting Crawford again, because I want to see him in another fight to see where he's at with it. Because he hasn't left my top 5.
Me neither. You know what I'm saying? As much as that was a one-sided back alley mugging.
Nobody else showed that they can come close to doing anything like that to Errol Spence.
Nothing. Nope.
Errol Spence has beaten every fighter they've come from him. He's come back from fights to win. Errol Spence has proven himself. He proven himself to be the second best fighter in the world that particular night.
At this current moment, I still got Errol Spence ranked above Jermell Charlo. At this current moment.
But if he beats
Canelo, he's number 2, no question.
He has to get that.
Number 2. He's not even number 3. He's number 2, no question.
Yeah,
what the hell?
I put him no less than that.
Okay, are we getting spammed or what? I don't know what's happening here, but all right. Yeah, so
let it go. Don't even. Yes, of course. Ashanti. Nah, man. Nah, I ain't see do all that. Yeah, I mean,
Ashanti, man. Like, I mean, if we talking boxing, but if you really wanted to know, Ashanti. Like, it's not even a question. You wildin'. Shout out Alicia Keys though. Yeah. So, yo, that was a.
Go ahead, though.
Yo, shout out to the people that's tuned in, man. Word up. Yeah, he's without question, he's number 2. No question. So I guess my last question before we get to our fighter picks. It seems like Bud Crawford is waiting or enticing the winner of this fight to fight him.
Of course, he should be.
My question for you is: can Bud Crawford beat Canelo and or Charlo at 168?
At 168,
and should they take that fight?
It's not advantageous for him to fight at 168 pounds, especially if Jermell wins. It's definitely not advantageous for that fight for him at 168 pounds. However,
you said if Jermell wins?
If Jermell wins, I don't see it advantageous to Crawford to fight at 168 pounds. However, I do see Jermell pushing that for 168 and then possibly ending up with a catch weight at 160, maybe 160 something.
Let me just put this.
Although Crawford said,
I'm just gonna put that. I'm just gonna put that back up there for 1 second, so I can give my opinion on this right here. You see what it said right there?
Come on, man, give your opinion.
Thank you.
Come on, man.
Brother Jabril, listen, man. Look, man. I don't care if they fought at 200 pounds. Bud beating the September out of both of them. And when I say September, I'm talking Earth, Wind, and Fire. Do you remember? Yo. Bud beating Earth, Wind, and Fire out of whoever wins this fight.
I believe the same thing. I don't think anybody beating Bud. I'm just saying it's not advantageous for him to be fighting at 168 pounds. The man came up from 135 pounds. That's a big difference.
He's
However,
walking
I
around
don't.
180 pounds right now, ripped. I don't like. I could pull a picture up, man. You know what I'm saying?
When the last
He's
time he fought?
still.
When the last time he fought at 168 pounds, man? When the last champion he fought?
He probably sparring at that weight. He probably beating ass in the gym right now. Pause.
Why? Why? So sparring is not the same. I get what you're
No, it's
saying though.
not. No, it's not. But
I
when you look
listen.
at the
I'm gonna
fact that
say
he
this.
walking
I'm
around
gonna say this.
180,
I'm
go
gonna
ahead.
say this though. At whatever weight, to me personally, the type of skill that Bud Crawford has, he could come in weighing whatever he want to weigh. I don't see him losing to either one of these particular fighters personally. But I'm just saying that jumping up weight, it's not advantageous for him to do it at 168 pounds. That's all I'm saying. It will be more to his advantage to say, okay, let me jump up to a buck 60 to fight this fight. Unless he's hitting that, having a hard time making anything less than 168 pounds.
The man wants to
And I
be
don't think that's the case.
undisputed in 3 different weight classes.
I believe that. But
Jamal once the
Jamar will
bell
still,
ring.
yeah, he's once the bell ring, he can only be undisputed in one division.
Right.
I get that.
So once the bell rings, he's no longer undisputed at 154, even though
But do you
technically he
really
is.
think? But
Technically he is. Technically he
here's the
is.
thing. Here's the thing, right?
Yeah.
Do you really think that Bud thinks that that's the only route for him to go? Do you know how much is on the table at 154 pounds with
Hold
Jermall
up.
Charlo leaving that division if he
What's
decides?
a bigger fight?
I'm not talking about bigger fights. You're just talking about unifying belts and all that. That would be
Okay.
an easy. That would be such an easy task. At that point, he can come clean that whole division up and retire.
All right. All right. So let me ask you a question. Okay.
If being
Okay.
undisputed was a goal,
Okay. Hold on. Fair enough. Going to 154 will probably be an easier task for him. Now let me ask you a question though. Let's just say Jamal loses. He goes back to 154. Maybe fights Tim Tszyu for that strap, beats him.
I only think he goes back to 154 if he loses
But
bad. But go ahead.
let's say he does. Let's say he does.
Okay.
For whatever
Okay.
reason. Like maybe he
Okay.
lose by decision, whatever. He goes
Okay.
back to 154. And maybe he fights Tim Tszyu on his way back in for that belt. You know what I'm saying? Because he's going to be the mandatory or, you know what I'm saying, for that strap when he comes back down. If he decides to. So he goes to 154, he fights Tim Tszyu, and he gets that strap back and becomes undisputed again. What's the bigger fight for Crawford? Is it fighting Charlo? I'm not talking about easier.
No, the biggest
Legacy.
fight. The biggest fight is
No.
Crawford.
I'm not even talking about money. I'm talking about Crawford legacy wise.
All right, here's
What's the
thing.
bigger fight legacy wise? Beating Canelo or beating Charlo for undisputed in either weight class?
Let me explain something though. We know the answer to that,
Right.
but it's beyond that though. That's not. It's like this. If he doesn't opt to fight that route, right? If he doesn't opt to go up and fight that route, and he just wants to clean up a division, if Charlo comes back down to the division to fight, it doesn't have the luster if he loses. If he loses, he's better off fighting Zoo. What is you doing?
If you saying that if Jermell loses, he's better off fighting Tim Tszyu over Crawford?
If Jermell loses, he's better off fighting over. He's better off fighting Zoo over Charlo.
Oh, you saying okay? You talking about Bud?
Yeah, I'm talking about Bud.
Well, that's the easy. Okay, so
It's not the easy. I'm
he
talking
beats
about
Tim
if
Tszyu.
he doesn't.
He beats Tim Tszyu and then fights Charlo for the rest of the belts.
Yeah, and fights Charlo for the rest of the belts. In the meantime, Charlo gets to have gets to get an interim fight where he gets to hopefully showcase some shit show that he's still good in this division. He just stepped up and bit off more than he could chew, possibly, whatever the case may be. That fight has a little bit of luster all over again. See, the problem with these fighters, right, is all of these fighters is just a loss away from losing their spot and having to start all over again. That's the problem with these fighters. You understand what I'm saying? And for Charlo to lose is a lot of. It's easy to say, you know what, you just lost, homeboy. Charlo has to lose and then rebound back with a win.
Well, again, we both believe that Bud could beat either one of these guys. I feel
But
like
if either one of them wins, it makes way more sense for Charlo to fight Bud than it does for Canelo. If I'm Canelo, avoid Bud. Period. If I'm Canelo, don't even blink Bud direction.
Well, here's the thing too. You're Canelo, you're 33 years old, 470 some odd rounds going on after this fight. You'd be pushing 500 rounds. You know what I'm saying? After this
Depending
fight.
on how many rounds it goes, yes.
Right. Let's say I'm assuming it goes 12. You close to 500 rounds now in your career. 33 years old. You made a ton of money. I'm pretty sure you want to go out and make some more bread. Like, what would be, other than David, and I'm going to say David Benavidez, because of the Mexican versus Mexican thing, may be the bigger fight monetarily for Canelo after this. Monetarily wise, that may be the bigger fight.
No, I don't think so. I think that there would be absolutely no bigger fight than him and Bud. Period. I think
I
that right
disagree.
now, I understand why you're saying that. I do
Mm.
get it. But I think that at this moment, I think that pre-Bud, Errol Spence, yes, absolutely. Absolutely. But I think post-Bud, Errol Spence, people want to see what's gonna happen. The imagination runs wild on that fight. And
I can see that.
the fans show up for that one.
Skills pay the bills, and Bud got a ton of it. And this man walk around 180 pounds right now. You can see his abs through his t-shirt. I think he'll be in tip top shape at 168, and a lot stronger than people think. Can he knock out Canelo? The only person I think Bud Crawford can't knock out is Canelo Alvarez. But he could definitely outbox him and outclass him for 12 rounds. 100%.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean,
Charlo getting the dirt nap. He fight Bud. That's just my opinion. No disrespect to Charlo. I'm just saying.
It's my opinion as well. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We share the same opinion. But you know, likewise, brother. You feel me? But I do think that I do think that Canelo's best bet would be to fight Benavidez. I just don't think it's a bigger fight. And that's, you know, but granted Benavidez gets past Andrade.
That's a great fight. It's one that I'm not prepared to really make a pick on that fight. Benavidez versus Andrade. I will say this is one of the best years in boxing in a long time.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's definitely ending with a bang. And it's gonna start with I guess somewhat, you know, if it starts off with Errol Spence and Crawford too.
I'm hearing Teofimo versus Ryan Garcia.
Yeah, I'm hearing a lot of things in the rumor mill.
Like, it's some things that's looking like it's about to happen this year, man. Then you're gonna have possibly the Bud Crawford Errol Spence rematch, which, even though I know how that's gonna play out, I'm watching that again. I'm watching that again. I'm watching it. So,
but back to where we at right here.
Yeah.
So
go ahead.
Nah, I'm just gonna say what you got. Go ahead. So what? Because I basically
let's get to our picks. Let's get to our picks so we can wrap this up and we can do our post fight on Facebook and we can really get to some other business. You know what I'm saying? Some other entertainment, some
But
more entertainment.
we'll talk
You know what I'm
about that
saying?
on the post though. On the you know what I
Yeah,
mean? We'll keep it
yeah.
on the
But
boxing.
I'm looking forward to that because it's been an entertaining day in regards to what's been happening on the social media
But we talk about
stratosphere.
that. We don't talk about
Yeah.
that on here though.
So let's make our official picks on the Parry. And for those who, and I'm asking people in the chat, make your picks now. We're going to keep track of our picks. We're going to keep records. You know what I'm saying? Wins, losses. You know what I mean? Ain't no riding the fence here in the Parry, man. You Parry, we don't pull or duck no punches, and the Parry is fundamental to boxing, you heard? So we're going to keep records as we move, as we continue to grow this channel and talk about and discuss more fights, have more fight predictions and previews. We get to see how we match up at the end of the year, right? Who picked who, and like right now we both 1-0. We both picked Bud Crawford to beat Spence. That was our first fight preview, if I'm not mistaken. So um, this being our second. Now we about to make our second fight predictions and picks. And I'm gonna let the pragmatic Shea Black go first and tell me who he think is gonna win this Charlo Canelo fight. And we ain't gotta get into the whys, but if you want to, go ahead. But you can make your pick, brother. Go ahead.
Well, this is such a fascinating fight to be honest with you. It's a very fascinating watching clips of Charlo all week and dude is impressive. He got a lot of heart. He's a lion. You know, the dude is a lion. Like I'm really impressed by the way he comes out. And like I said, he's very offense minded, which means that defense suffers. And so you do see him take punches. And that right there kind of bothers me in this particular fight. And the style that he's been employing lately has bothered me. And the fact that he's sizing up Canelo so hard and feeling like I'm the bigger man is bothering me because it's making me feel like he's possibly going to try to go in there and sit in the pocket with this guy. He's possibly going to go in there and try to trade punches with this guy, try to impose his will on him. When I believe that his keys to victory would be to stay on his feet, to work his jab, to rake him with the right hand, to keep moving to his left and then bounce to the right and hit him with the right hand. Move to the left, bounce back to the right. And I feel like if he can do that for majority of the fight, he can pepper this boy up and he can pretty much probably get an easy victory. To be honest with you, if he can do that, but that's a tall task though, because we're talking about exceptional upper body movement for exceptional slow feet, which creates an awkward ass disposition when standing in front of somebody. You know what I'm saying? Um, the experience that Canelo brings into this fight, it absolutely trumps pretty much all of his peers. You know what I'm saying? He's a classic Mexican fighter. Like I don't know what Teddy Atlas was smoking. You know, um, let me know so I can cop some of it. You know what I'm saying? Because that's powerful, brother. You know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna say, uh, as far as going into the fight, Canelo, like I said, his movement, standing right in front of a fighter, he's very experienced. He knows a lot of tricks. He's a very classic Mexican fighter. And when I say classic Mexican fighter, I mean he's actually a throwback. You know, he's been fighting since he was a kid, fighting forever in Mexico. You know, the only difference is he he'll talk to you. Most of them back, Chavez never spoke to us. He was, he spoke Mexican, Spanish.
He
Pardon me.
said
He
he
spoke.
spoke Mexican.
I mean, he spoke. He spoke Mexican. He didn't speak to us though.
Yeah.
Whereas, you know, my man Canelo talks to us somewhat. Now, as
Yo, he
far as
just started learning English over like the past 3 years,
but
man.
I'm
Two,
impressed though,
three
because
years.
Trinidad could have
Yeah.
did that. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's be honest, Trinidad could have did that. You feel me? But anyway, um,
Your
I
pick, brother.
think that the edge has to go to Canelo Alvarez. Um, I feel like Canelo Alvarez will probably end up getting a late round stoppage. I think it might be the 10th, it might be the 11th. It could be
So
earlier, depending on how, um, how fast, um, Charlo decides he wants to get in the pocket. But I think at some point he's gonna decide he doesn't want to give up any more territory, and he's gonna just stand in there and fight. I think that he'll probably come out winning the early rounds, probably be winning them pretty easily and impressively. I think that that right there is going to give him a sense of I can walk through this guy, almost similar to Zab Judah Costa Zoo, but I think it's going to play out a lot longer. Um, and I think that that right there is going to cause him to get comfortable and possibly get knocked out. And like I said, around between the 10th or the 11th round. And I think
so
that if
you
it goes to the scorecards, it's going to be a tough one to call.
so you picking Canelo to win by late round stoppage.
I'm picking Canelo to win by late round stoppage.
So Chase Parry pick is Canelo Alvarez. All right, let me get to it before we wrap it up. I've been going back and forth, and I honestly, as I'm sitting here about to discuss a couple different points about this fight, I know who I'm going to pick, but it took me up until this point to make the pick. So let me just be honest about it. Canelo has a problem and have an issue with guys who can move. Arislani Lara, even Austin Trout gave him problems. You know what I'm saying? You saw what Bivol was able to do to him. And I do know that early on in Charlo's career, he was more of a mover when he was with Ronnie Shields, but now he's sitting down on his punches a lot more. And I have to take into account that it seems like Derrick James and his fighters don't have the he doesn't really give his fighters don't really switch up their game plan or switch up their style so much. Like Frank Martin still fights the same fight pretty much every fight. Errol Spence, to his detriment, fought the same fight he always fights against Bud Crawford. And I predict that Jermell Charlo is going to come in the ring with the same game plan that he usually does, but he's going to try to sit down his punches a little more, and he has a tendency to get hit a lot. With that said, here's what I didn't like about the last press conference from yesterday. Canelo was in, and I take into account everything, the mental state, how people, everything going into a fight, not just physically how they look, but just mentally how they are coming across to me. I take all of that into account when I make my picks. I find that Jermell Charlo, in comparison to Canelo was in that last press conference, he's like, yo, I know you, yeah, I know you're a good fighter. I know what you bring to the table, but you ain't never been in the ring with nobody like me. And Charlo's more like, yeah, you a great fighter. Yeah, we know what your resume is. You a great fighter. He's giving a little bit too much respect for me. He's giving way too much respect for me, man. It's making me a little uncomfortable. Now, I'm going to state for the record, I'm always going with the home team.
Indeed. I will say this. Yes, I wanted to add that after everything was said and done, but yes, I'm actually rooting for Charlo. I'm rooting for Charlo. Don't get it.
I'm hoping
Go ahead.
I'm wrong. I'm rooting for Jermell Charlo. And then when I take into account that Canelo has a 3-fight deal with PBC, got to take into account the business.
You start thinking about that decision is going to be.
That decision, yeah. I predict Canelo Alvarez to win this fight, and I'm sticking to that. My Parry pick, Canelo Alvarez wins by decisions. I'm not going to go late round stoppage, but I will say, Che, to your credit, you be calling the stoppages. You be calling the stoppages. Before we even did this show, we be talking, yo, this guy getting knocked out. You be calling the stoppages. I had my little run too, but I will say you calling a stoppage by Canelo over Charlo I wouldn't be shocked.
Right.
But I'm gonna go ahead and just play it safe.
The
I'm gonna
ref
say
probably,
Canelo.
and it might be one of those controversial stoppages. It might be,
Right.
but
I'm gonna say Canelo by decision.
and that could very well happen too. I could
Split
see that.
decision.
I could see that an unpopular decision. I could even see. Here's the thing with the decision, because it's like I'm not changing my actual pick, but I'm saying these are the scenarios I truly see playing out. It can
Right.
be it could go to the scorecards and then be one of them split decisions or just super unpopular, controversial decisions in the favor of Canelo. But you know, it is what it
It,
is.
it, it could be controversial, but in any
I
case,
either way
Canelo
though,
Alvarez is walking out of the T-Mobile arena with that dub.
like if he
That's
doesn't
that.
knock Canelo out, it's gonna be hard for him to win this fight. If he doesn't knock him out twice, it's gonna be hard for him to come out of that fight with the decision when you start to think about all the other factors and whatnot.
I agree.
I hate to
And
start making things seem so corrupt and whatnot. So I'm gonna ease up on what I'm
listen,
saying.
man, we've been watching boxing for way too long not to take everything into account. We know how it
But you
go.
know what? This is the Parry though, man, and the people make this. So we going that's the people want to hear. We're gonna talk about what the people want to hear. So
That it is what it is. So we got both our picks. The Parry official picks is we picking Canelo, but we are rooting for Jermell Charlo
that is an
to win this
actual
fight.
factual. That is an actual factual.
So I'm going to remind everybody again before we get up out of here. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead and hit that, jab that like button, uppercut that subscribe button, slap around that share button, man, and follow us on Instagram and Twitter at the Parry 101. You know what I'm saying? Sorry, at the Parry 101. And once again, there's been another episode of the Parry where we don't pull a duck, no goddamn punches, and the Parry is fundamental to boxing. Join us on our Facebook private group, where we're gonna have our post, what we call a post-fight show, which is pretty much the show after the show, where we go live on Facebook in our private group where we discuss everything under the sun. But tonight's topic will be that special ed interview on Drink Champs and what he said about NWA. So please pull up. Please pull up. I'm your host, Bomani UFG.
I'm
This
the
is-
pragmatic shape Blidak.
And this has been another episode of the Parry. Again, jab that like button, uppercut that subscribe button, share, Instagram, Twitter, the Parry 101. You know what it is. Join us tomorrow for our live fight chat. We'll be watching the Canelo Charlo fight live. I would like to go live for the co-main, which is I think is Ramirez versus Lubin. But we're going live on a co-main. And then we're going live with the main event. Join us so we could chop it up, watch the fight together, and we all one family. But until next time, see you on Man Up Mondays. Once again, I'm your host, Bomani UFG, with Pragmatic Shape Black. This is the Parry, and we out this bitch. Peace.